Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate. Revelations today that one of the 5 Nombora escapees has had his leg amputated. Epeli Ngaraningio is the only escapee still to be presented in court, and the DPP's office confirmed in court this afternoon his right leg has been amputated. The DPP has asked for 14 more days, bearing in mind Ngaraningio's medical condition. Meanwhile, 2 other escapees appeared in court today. The DPP's office asked for more time to prepare disclosures in the case of Isoa Wanga and Solomon Ngurai. Wanga and Ngurai face several counts of robbery with violence, escaping from lawful custody and resisting arrest. The matter has been adjourned to the 5th of November. Meanwhile, Police Commissioner Brigadier Ioane Naivalurua isn't revealing details of investigations into the alleged assault of the 5 inmates who escaped from the Nombora Medium Correction Center last month. The inmates suffered injuries and were admitted at the CWM hospital for about a week. When they appeared in court, some had their limbs plastered and needed help walking, while one was on crutches. There were also bruises to the face and limbs. The 5th inmate is still in hospital.
So the investigations into the assault of the prisoners, how far has it gone?
It's an internal issue for the force.
The Prime Minister had said a while ago that the officers also had rights. But in this case, we saw the prisoners that were assaulted. Now, what rights are being talked about?
I think you're talking about an issue here that will need to be determined by the outcome of the investigation.
The escapees were captured by a joint team of police, military and corrections officers. Government-owned vessels have been sold to scrap metal dealers. The Government Shipping Services confirms this is a cost-cutting measure to get rid of vessels which are no longer seaworthy. Abisola Medokar has the details.
The first lot of ships were sold off last year.
Yes, last year we sold 3 vessels to scrap metal. And this year we're looking at most probably another 3.
Tuimambualau says they urgently need to get in new boats to continue services to the people in our maritime zone. However, they first need to get rid of ships that have been sailing for decades and are now chewing up taxpayers' money.
They have become too cost-effective in maintaining them. The ships are over 30, 40 years old. And we feel that the finances that is used for repair is too much.
Back when government services began, there were as many as 40 vessels sailing all over Fiji, meeting the needs of people in the most remote locations. Today, there are only 6 inter-island ships, but only 3 of them are still running. The director says at least 1 new ship will start sailing by the end of the year. The target is to have 2 vessels for every maritime province in Fiji.
The government says years of neglect and abuse has led to the demise of vessels, leaving them to pick up the pieces and restore services to thousands who have no other means of processing goods and services as well as traveling to the main islands. Apisola Medokar, FBC News.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has assured that corruption will be rooted out of the Ithauke Lands Trust Board. He was speaking at the opening of a 3-day TLTB workshop at the Warwick Fiji Resort this morning. Christopher Chand reports.
The PM has a strong message for TLTB employees in light of recent cases of abuse.
We will not tolerate laziness or incompetence, and anyone who is corrupt will be found out and dealt with. But it is not only corruption that we must keep a watchful eye on. The TLTB must also fight against the plague of an unresponsive and uncaring bureaucracy.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in landowners' money was stolen in an online scam involving a handful of staff. It's alleged employees transferred money into their own accounts. 3 staff have been sacked as police investigations continue.
We have a system and we believe it is working. That is why we have detected that quite quickly. We have done our own investigation, we have handed it over to the police, but it need not occur.
Through this corporate workshop, the TLTB is relooking at its human resource. New policies will reward staff based on performance.
You will be judged by current market and industry standards, not by who you know or how long you have been with TLTB. This is the one very basic reforms we are looking to implement across government bodies.
The recent events has come as a blow to the TLTB, which has promised to redeem itself by taking action against those responsible and making sure it never happens again. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
TLTB has today announced a drop in its administration fees, costing $800,000. Itauke Affairs Chairman Vorenge Bainimarama says this will help put more money into the pockets of landowners. Christopher Chand again.
Right now, landowners pay 15% as administrative fees. From next year, this will be reduced by 5%.
Today I can announce that the administrative fees charged by TLTB will be reduced by 2.5%, effective January 1st, 2013. It is expected that this will be reduced a further 2.5% later in the year.
TLTB says the reduction in revenue will mean being more efficient and strategic.
It actually means that from next year, we will be foregoing over $800,000. That amount is to come to us as part of our administration fees. So it means that we have to work hard.
Of particular importance is the renewal of leases for sugarcane farming. The PM says more land needs to be made available for productive use.
There are no if, buts or maybes when it comes to sugar. We have no choice but to get the arrangements right, especially as relates to land leases.
This is the first workshop of its kind to be held by TLTB as a means to modernize the organization. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Australia has allowed the Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum to travel to Australia in what appears to be further easing of travel restrictions against members of the Fijian government. Said Qayyum transited through Sydney today on his way to Brussels to attend a series of meetings involving the African, Caribbean and Pacific grouping and the European Union. On his way back, he will spend a few days in Sydney to attend to a personal matter. He's the second government minister to enter Australia after Foreign Affairs Minister Ratu Inoke Kumbuambola met his Australian counterpart, Bob Carr, in Sydney about 3 months ago.